everyone.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the Gotta Have Miami podcast. Is that what it is?
Podcast,
Right?
YouTube show.
Right, YouTube show, whatever it is. And I know we've been kind of lame this whole summer because we've been on and
We're on
off.
a summer vibe.
I know we're on a really super summer vibe, just like the rest of Miami is. And we just basically every time we try to plan something out,
Something
we end up somebody gets sick, somebody gets a cold.
Yeah, I
somebody
have,
gets something.
have kids, so
Yeah,
we are
yeah,
like an
all of that.
ongoing germ fest in my
Yes,
house.
absolutely. And
So
some of my clients have had the same thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between summer vibes and illness.
Right, and the heat and the humidity and the big lizards that we have behind us.
Yeah.
But again, welcome to episode 22 from Coconut Grove, Florida. You'll see behind us a little planner that we did.
Have made this.
That planner there.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, that's the planner there. So I think we're going to talk a little bit today about we're going to touch on the rental market.
Yeah.
We're going to touch also on how I feel the market's going to be coming back pretty well towards the end of the year, and also I think how inflation has affected some stuff.
The situation here.
And then you said that you had some news about a big company coming down. It's going to be a big deal. Citadel, yeah.
The wealthiest man in Illinois. What's his name? Ken. I can't grab his last name
Burns.
right now.
Well,
No.
we don't get any last names right. Sometimes we don't even get the first names right. So
it's Ken. He was like the richest guy in Illinois.
There you go.
And he's
Rich dudes
decided
coming down.
to relocate Citadel headquarters to MIA.
MIA.
So the great Florida migration continues.
It's still going on. And actually, in the market here, we just one of my neighbors on that side over there. One of my neighbors just purchased a home for 3.2, and I'm thinking to myself, wow. What am I still doing here? So wow, for 3.2, and it's not even as much square footage as I have.
Wow.
So yeah, wow, that's what I said. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. But when you sell your place for 11 point something million, I guess you can.
It was a downgrade
yeah,
for
it's
them.
a little down. It's a little downgrade from the
So
market.
you're telling me they sold their house for 11 and
Yep.
bought one for 3.5, so
Yep.
pocketed some profit and stayed in the same neighborhood.
Stayed in the same neighborhood, but you're better be selling in the 11 million range to come down here to buy for 3. So yeah, the market still has its insanities. We have seen a market slow down simply because it's summer, and really summer does affect what happens in Miami. The heat comes in, a lot of people leave town. But also I think we had people recalculating after interest rates, inflation.
Right. Interest, inflation, the craziness of the Ukraine-Russia situation. Everybody gets very emotional, and I think everyone kind of put a halt to whatever their plans were to reevaluate. And
yeah, I think there was a positive, really, just to realize, and we're starting to see some of that. Business come back, gradually. A lot of the folks that were out there are still out there. I mean, there's still buyers out there.
Yeah. There's definitely still buyers out there.
Yeah, there's still, and I think what's happening is that yesterday I went to see a listing, a little condo, and they had 7 people lined up for it. So, and the condo's in good shape. It wasn't anything out of this world. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in the Gables.
Area, yeah.
But it was in the Gables, and I think at the end of the day, you saw that there was still a stream of buyers in it. And then again, we've been showing properties to other clients, and there's just such a lack of inventory.
There is lack of inventory surmounted by a lack of quality.
Yeah, quality of products.
Yeah, so I mean,
you wanted to touch on that with the rental side.
Oh, the rentals have been horrible.
I just got attacked by a Poinciana leaf.
That perspective. Okay. But I think for your average residential buyer looking for a single family home, everyone's okay with some fixing up, but most people don't want to walk into a full fixer upper.
No. One, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're already coming out with so much cash out of pocket to qualify at 20%,
right?
How much more of that capital do you have to actually try to improve the property?
And then the logistics. Do you live it? Do you live somewhere else?
Right.
That's another expense.
The whole process.
Ooh,
so it is. We want to touch too on the thing about the rental market. We've had a lot of folks start to reach for a lot of these prices, and note to landlords: make sure that your property actually has the qualities and some virtues that will make it worth that kind of number.
Right.
And we've seen it with our own rentals that we've had some pushback from tenants because they say, hey, listen, it's just not worth what you're asking.
Right.
And the landlords are actually striving for a number because they see the numbers out there.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, does your product, what you have in that building, unit, home, does it meet what those big numbers are getting?
Yeah, I've seen some really scary rentals lately, and you're talking the $2,800, $3,000 price point a month, and you're walking into like essentially an efficiency that someone jerry-rigged.
Welcome to Miami.
I'm telling my tenant, you can't live here.
You can't live here.
You can't. I know it's good for school and work in the area, but you can't live here.
Yeah, and speaking of school, we have a lot of the students coming down, so they'll even put a little bit more pressure
on the rental market.
On the rental market as it is. So I think we do see, and we mentioned this in another show. I do see that we are going to be getting a nice little push and inventory coming up. We're already seeing it from our listings. Is that I know that we have listings coming up in September, October, simply because those clients are calling us now, asking us the questions that they are. Hey, listen, should we rent? Should we sell? Should we do this?
And I think your single-family home owners who said maybe a year or two ago they saw the prices, but they said, where am I going to go? I can't relocate in Miami and get the same type of house. I'd be downgrading this, that, and the other. I think people are seeing the prices continue to go up and making that decision like, all right, let's sell and just get, take our profits and go somewhere else.
Get out of Dodge. And I think also the actual COVID, being a little bit more, subsided. I think there is more travel available. I think there's more relocation available.
Yeah.
I think you're able to, now have opportunities in other states, which is really when you move out of Miami, you're usually moving out of state.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, but even if you stay in Florida, like Tampa's become a huge area, so you're getting more of these like
strip
metro
joint capital of the world.
So if you love strip joints, you move to Tampa.
Exactly, that's a place to be.
No, but you're getting more like a metropolitan area, densely populated, more city-like.
Sorry, anybody from Tampa. Tom Brady.
We didn't mean to offend you.
Exactly. No,
so you can move outside of Miami and still have that urban sort of city feel that some people like.
Have you been to Tampa? There's no urban feel.
I know. I'm trying to be optimistic here. I have been to Tampa.
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure about that. No, again, I don't want to offend Tampa.
Yeah.
Because you haven't started me on Orlando yet, so don't even get me started on Orlando.
Well, I'd love to hear. Well, if I had to force you, you sold this house here. You got $5 million in your pocket.
$5 million in my pocket?
$5 million in your pocket, and I say, Jav, you got two options.
Which
Orlando or Tampa?
Neither.
No, you have to pick one.
No, I'm going to Kissimmee.
Oh.
Right in the middle. No, I'm not. No, either. Both of them. Well, I would probably say Tampa because it's closer to the water, because Orlando is just brutally hot.
That's true.
And eventually they're going to run out of water. But I don't want to be that kind of that guy.
Okay.
Being so pessimistic about it. But again, we have seen what, as everybody has said. Everybody said that there's this big market shift and everything like that. I think it's more of a pause as people recalculate, reevaluate what they can afford, what they cannot afford, and I think that's really the biggest thing we've seen is that folks that were at $1 million, let's say, they could afford $1 million, but now that property is $1.1 million, even if it's $1 million, just because of the cost on the property. And I think those folks are just starting to kind of reposition themselves. Yeah. And then I think the market will then kind of reposition itself to this new reality that interest rates are affecting inflation is, coming through the roof. And I think all of those details, and a lot of people feel they're poor because their 401k is taking a nice hit.
What's a 401k?
What's a 401k? You know what? Most realtors don't have 401ks because they're 1099 employees and they just don't even know how to plan for the future.
I do have a 401k from my previous corporate life.
Perfect. There you go. So
I do.
Keep filling the
And I did
coffers.
see that drop, and I was like, wow, maybe should have cashed out.
Yeah, should have cashed out when we could. Should have sold that Netflix stock at $700. Now it's where it's at now. Just on a different tangent and during the middle of the show, you want to do a shout out to Riley Smith, a good friend of mine, who actually made a big move last week.
What did he do?
He left EWM, Berkshire Hathaway, and he took his firm to his group to Compass.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a big move. I think.
Congrats, Riley.
Yeah. I think for him, it's a positive move simply because he's got a big group of young agents. Yeah. And Compass has that kind of young agent vibe. Yeah. And I think that's really where.
It's funny that you say that, because when I think of Riley, I think of Compass. Yeah. Like, I don't know, their branding kind of goes together.
And I think he's one of the big mega teams. We always talked about that years ago, and he's going to be within. I think Compass has the biggest teams in Florida. Okay. The top 5 or 6. So that puts him in that company. I wish you, Riley, I wish you luck. I wish your team luck. I know that you will do well, and again, good to see you moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's my shout out to
Riley.
The Riley Hunter Smith.
Wow, that's
my
cousin's middle name is Hunter.
Yeah, it's a long. That Hunter story is actually a long story. Somebody should reach out to Riley and get a story.
Riley, you want to come on and tell us about your
Riley,
hunters?
come on down and we do it. Speaking of that, Friday we're going to have Hal.
Hal.
Because Hal say, hey, how come you come on my show and I don't come on your show?
Hal from Remax joining us on Friday.
He's going to join us on Friday. So now we got to find a location.
Yeah, we got to
time.
A good location.
Yeah, because last time I bailed on him, I was in the Keys, and he calls me up, and I'm driving down, and he says, "Hey, you coming to the show?" And I said, "Nope."
Next week?
Maybe next week. So I apologize to Hal. So we're going to have him on Friday. We're going to try to do that. We're going to try to bring in some other people in here to take some spotlight, some shows.
Yeah, hear different perspective. Hear what's going on from their perspective.
We have an audience member, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We have an audience member, so in our window, my mother-in-law is looking at me, so we have an audience member. And you wanted to mention that too about, as you're planning on home buying and talking about it, is, are you a planner or are you
on the go adapt?
Yeah.
There's benefits to both probably. Yeah. I mean, if you're a planner, then you can get ahead of whatever situations, whether you're going to be caring for elderly parents or you have kids from college that are probably coming back home. So those are always circumstances to think about when you're purchasing, selling, doing your real estate stuff. But also, it's kind of nice to go on the fly,
on the nomad,
because you could plan. My kids are going to come back from college. I'm going to take care of my parents, and then that doesn't happen. And now you bought this big house, and that didn't happen. Yeah. So there's benefits to both. But it's a driver, I think, for people when they make decisions. The future.
Yeah. I'll give you a little bit of tip. When we bought our home in the Grove, it was very, very small, and then we knew that as our life progressed, that we were going to be in a position where we would probably have an elderly person living with us, and that's what we added on that way.
Right.
So the home is built in a way that is what we call age in place. You can actually age in place, and then maybe we can bring you guys over here when we're old and decrepit and just sit in the corner, and then just or you just give me a rake and I'll just rake the yard and stuff like that. So I think that's key, is if you plan, if you work that way.
Yeah.
But also one of the other things too is sometimes, and I've mentioned this to a lot of my clients, if you really want to build some wealth in real estate, you can also play developer for yourself.
Yeah.
So you look at a home and you don't look at it just as it is. If the lot is big enough, you can actually add square footage. And if it's costing you $200-300 a square foot, but the properties are selling at $600, $700, $800 a foot, you're actually playing like a little mini developer within your own property.
Yeah.
And that's something that you should look at. So there's a lot of ways of looking at how we look for real estate.
Yeah.
And we try to educate our clients that way for every possible scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's definitely lots of different scenarios.
It's different. And that's another thing too about having an experienced agent, is if you've been doing this long enough, you've seen so many things where you can just kind of navigate through them. We're going through something on a property that's off market right now, which the loan is very difficult. It's a Fannie construction. So we've got to go through the whole construction. We were working with a client, and their first contractor actually couldn't qualify because of a situation, kind of a nepotism thing with the city of Miami. So eventually we were able to, put them together with another contractor, and the deal is going to continue to move forward. And so all of these things, as an agent, you kind of pick up on. So. But
even you have lots of experience, and you.
Because I'm old. Oh, by the way, how do you know you're old? When you have to shave your ears. So when you have to shave ear hair off of your ears.
Do you qualify as old?
That definitely qualifies you as old, or just some hairy dude. But this morning I had to look. I'm thinking, my God, this is like a comb over. Sorry.
Well, even though you're old and hairy, there's still situations that are unique that you not exactly brand new to you, but you're like, wow, I haven't seen this in a while, or this happened a little differently this time, So things are always
always changing, and it's always evolving. And I think there's new things that come up in real estate that you have one of those aha moments and say, hey, hold on a second. Oh, I remember this one from back in the day.
Yeah, this happened once before.
Right, yeah, but back in the prehistoric times. Yeah, exactly. How can I avoid this one this time? So I think that's that's one of the keys of working with an experienced agent, and we can kind of see through the bullshit really quick.
Yeah, and then talking about working with an experienced agent, a lot of people feel like they need to hold their playing cards close. They have that mentality, and in business I can understand that, but I think when you're making real estate, you know, these are life, most likely, unless you're an investor, these are like life-changing things. This is where you live. So whether you're renting or selling or buying, this is your residence. But you have to be honest with your real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know, there's just some information we should know.
Yeah. Lately we went through one of those with a client. It was like, it just kind of got bumped on us really fast, and it was like, okay, hold on a second, scramble. And
like if you guys would have just said this a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. We could have made this a lot easier, man, than having to wake up one Monday morning and say, okay, go, you got 3 days. Let's make this happen. So keep us in the loop. I know everybody looks at, real estate agents. We don't have the greatest reputation in the world, and I agree. There's a lot of agents out there that shouldn't even be licensed, and they shouldn't be there. But after you've been doing this for a while, there's a reason why we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
It's because we've earned the trust of our clients, and not that we're perfect. We make mistakes, and we don't get everything right. But I think the more that we know, that it allows us to operate
right
on behalf of the client, or behalf of the buyer or the seller.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we kind of know you're already holding stuff back on us.
Yeah.
So that's just the reality of it. I mean, we've been around the block long enough to know that we can, we anticipate it. So we're already,
we're already trying to read between the lines.
Right, exactly. So the easier you make it on us, the easier you're going to make it on yourself.
Yeah, at least give us good hints,
Right, exactly, yeah. A little cue card, whatever. But at the end of the day, remember, we work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't work for us, and yes, we get paid, but the reality is we are here to service, our clients' needs. Yeah. And that's the service industry. That's why we do this. We enjoy doing it. We've been doing it for quite some time, at different levels. And you got to believe in the fact that we have your best interest in mind, not ours, which a lot of folks.
It could be the other way around.
Yeah, perceived
that way.
Understandable.
But if you work with us, just at least give us good
clues. Give us some clues. Give us some clues. We
we
pretty much kind of know it, but if you help us out, it'll make our lives a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add today?
I think that's it. It's Taco Tuesday, the 22nd episode of.
That's right. It's 22 and 22.
The restaurant on Commodore in the Grove, the name escapes me. It's a taco spot. They have dollar tacos on Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, just don't park on Grand Avenue and block traffic.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. It's not cool. It's not cool at all, and you back up traffic, and it's going to be a road rage incident over in front of Coco Walk. I already told this to the police chief, City of Miami Police Chief Manny Morales. Manny, if you're listening,
just put somebody out there.
Just put somebody out there, man. It's going to get ugly out there one rush hour.
Yeah.
That it's just going to get hostile. So just my 2 cents.
Well, have a wonderful week.
Have a great week, and we'll be back on Friday with how, from where, we don't know, and at what time, we also don't know.
And if you have suggestions on where we should go,
let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, just go reach out to us, talk to us. All right, guys, take it easy. Be good.